All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to my I Love Stamping Night. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka a Stampin Blondie, and I'm really excited to gather here with you tonight to kind of go over Stampin' Up, what it means to be a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and to just answer any questions you may have about demonstratorship. So, a little bit about myself first. I have been a demonstrator for 13 and a half years. I originally became a demonstrator in 2010. My husband and I were living at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. And if you don't know where that is, it's because it's literally in the middle of nowhere. The closest craft store was about an hour away, and I currently work full time for the government as well. And I was spending my weekends driving to the closest craft store, picking out products and trying to get them to match, and overall wasting a lot of time. So I was invited to a Stampin' Up party by another military spouse, and I really fell in love with the products. I liked that everything coordinated with each other, meaning that my ink pad is going to match my cardstock, which will match my designer series paper and ribbon embellishments. And I liked that I could get the items sent directly to my house without having to waste that time driving back and forth to the store. Um, when I signed up, I will tell you I had no intention of teaching classes or hosting an event. This was strictly a hobby for me and just a way for me to get my supplies at a discount. I continued to go to that lady's classes, and then she moved and she asked me if I wanted to take over the class. I will tell you, I was terrified because I had never taught a crafting class before, and just jumped right into it. So I started teaching classes, and then from there, it just kind of blossomed and grew. And then in 2012, my husband received orders to move to Italy. And at that time, because Stampin' Up is not selling in Italy and with military rules that we have in place, I was not able to sell until we moved back to the States in 2016. So since then, I have lived in Tucson, Arizona, and this summer I will be moving to Rhode Island to move with my husband's military career as well. So just a little bit about me as a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Like I said, no intention of teaching classes or really hosting any events when I started. I really wanted to do this as a discount. Stampin' Up had a great promotion in November of 2010, and I just really wanted to be able to get my items at that discount. I was going to buy them anyways, so it was the perfect way to get those items even cheaper. So a little bit about Stampin' Up. They have been a company for over 35 years. They are based out of Riverton, Utah, and we make all of our stamps in-house. So in Kanab, Utah, they have a manufacturing plant where they manufacture all of our stamps, both the red rubber and your see-through clear photopolymer stamps. They also package all of our cardstock and our ink pads here in the United States as well as our designer series paper. So it is a US company that has been around, like I said, over 35 years. They are well known in the crafting world for having high quality products, and they stand behind those products. If I've ever received something that has been damaged in the mail during shipping, Stampin' Up will stand behind that, and they will, get me the product that I need in the condition that I need it in. So a little bit about the Stampin' Blondie team. So why am I called Stampin' Blondie and not just for my blonde hair? Growing up, my dad called me Blondie. And in November of 2010, a month before I became a demonstrator, like I said, I was still card making and paper crafting even before I became that demonstrator. He purchased my very first card, and I actually have the dollar hanging on the wall right there from his purchase. And from there, a month after I became a demonstrator, my dad passed away. So when it was time for me to think of a business name, when I started to be getting into Stampin' Up more on the business side, Stampin' Blondie was the perfect name for me to think of. So I honor him every day with using the Blondie name and also the poppy logo in my designs. And if you've ever seen any on my website, there's poppies because I called him Poppy. So just a way how I got the Blondie name. But the Stampin' Blondie team, so when you become a demonstrator, you get to join the Stampin' Blondie team as well. And I provide additional perks to my team members, as well as the perks that they get from Stampin' Up. And we'll go over the perks from Stampin' Up in just a minute. So, as a member of the Stampin' Blondie team, every month myself, I host card classes. So, Club Craft and Create or Card Class to Go. Right now, I have open a stamp retreat. So, different events that I host. As a Stampin' Blondie team member, I provide all of my project PDF tutorials from those events to my team members for free. They're hosted on a private website on my blog that you can go onto, and it's password protected, and you log in, and it has all of my project PDF tutorials that members of my team can go on there, print those out, and use them for either their events or their own crafting that they want to create. So those are that is an additional perk that I offer to my Stampin' Blondie team, as well as our private Facebook group. Now, in that private Facebook group, we share projects, we share tips and tricks that we've learned, different techniques. We have team challenges that we do, as well as a monthly in-person and virtual team gathering. Now, during these gatherings, we have make and take projects. We go over Stampin' Up information like news that's come out. We welcome all of our new demonstrators. And the biggest thing that I like to do is team recognition. I love to recognize my team members, not just for their sales, but maybe those that have hosted their very first event or tried a new technique out or just something that's out of their comfort zone. I really love to recognize those that try new things and that have achieved different things as well. Now, during the virtual and in-person events, like I said, we do make and takes. Now, these are great ways for you to be able to take those projects back and either recreate them with maybe some supplies that you have in your craft room, or maybe if you want to use it to teach your next class. Now, on my Stampin' Blondie team, I welcome all types of demonstrators for various skill levels. You do not have to be the most advanced crafter to join my Stampin' Blondie team. I welcome all levels. I feel we can all gain knowledge from different techniques, and we all create projects differently as well. Even if we have the same supplies, our projects may look totally different. So being able to learn from each other is something that I love about our team. Now, I welcome not only all skill levels, but all types of demonstrators as well. As a demonstrator, there are kind of two routes that you can take. The first one are those that, just like me when I signed up, I wanted to just get my products at a discount. I did not want to host any classes. It just wasn't for me at that time. But I just wanted to get my items at a discount. So I like to call those happy shoppers because they're getting that Stampin' Up discount, but they're not teaching classes, which is totally fine. About 98% of my Stampin' Blondie team are what I call happy shoppers. Now, the other 2% are the business-minded demonstrators, those that love to teach classes or host events. They are a part of the team. They bring different types of knowledge about those events that they host, but most of our team members are those that are just in it for the discount, and I accept all. It doesn't matter what type of demonstrator you want to be on our team. Now, also a part of the team, like I said, we have that Facebook group. In there, I host little challenges. We've been doing tic-tac-toe challenges where I post a tic-tac-toe grid board. You pick 3 different things to create your tic-tac-toe win, and then you make the project with that. Sometimes there is use black cardstock with Christmas paper and a silver embellishment. So it's very loose guidelines, but it's very fun to see what others create just based off of that tic-tac-toe grid, and you can choose what you want to create in that guideline. I also talked about recognition. So I like to recognize those that have top sales for each month during our monthly team meetings, as well as those that promote during the month for the Stampin' Up levels that they have. Now, a little bit about Stampin' Up and becoming a demonstrator. What exactly does this mean? So, as a demonstrator, are there minimum sales requirements? And the answer is yes, but as a brand new demonstrator, you have a little bit more time to do your monthly sales. So it's sorry, not monthly sales, quarterly sales. So our quarters are 3 months long. So it starts in September October is when our Stampin' Up year begins. And we just started a brand new quarter last month in January. So January, February, March is our current quarter. But as a demonstrator, when you sign up to become a demonstrator, you have until the end of your first full quarter to meet your quarterly minimums. So right now, if you were to sign up, just as an example, if you were to sign up today, you would have until the end of April, May, June, the end of June to do your quarterly quota. But then Stampin' Up also gives us what they call a pending month. So then technically you would have until the end of July to meet that quarterly quota. Now, what exactly is the quarterly quota? It is $300, and this can be achieved by either sales of items that you purchase yourself or others that purchase from you as a demonstrator. Other than, say, our catalogs or business supplies, everything that you see in a catalog or online that you can purchase counts towards those quarterly sales. You can, let's see, I have some notes here. Sorry if I'm looking over, I've got notes. So as a demonstrator, it is that quarterly quota. So you have until the end of July if you were to sign up, say February right now, to do those quarterly quotas. And then it would go July, August, September is that next quarter. So then you would have those 3 months to do the 300 in sales. Now, if at the end of July, when your pending month ends, say you realize, maybe Stampin' Up's not for me, maybe the Stampin' Blondie team is not for me, and you don't want to continue. Are you penalized? Do you owe Stampin' Up any money of that quarterly quota that you did not complete? And the answer to that is no. That's the one thing I really like about Stampin' Up. If for some reason, here's just an example. Say during my quarter, I sold or purchased $150. And at the end of the quarter, I have not fulfilled my quarterly quota by $150. I do not owe Stampin' Up that additional $150. I don't have to send any part of my starter kit back to them. I simply just drop as a demonstrator, and then I do not owe anything to Stampin' Up. I really like that about their company, that they don't hold you to having to fulfill that quarterly quota or, owing them anything back or any money in return if you are not able to fulfill that. I really like that about this company. So what are the perks of becoming a demonstrator and joining Stampin' Up? The biggest perk is, I talked about, getting that discount on your orders. Now, demonstrator discounts start at 20%, And then as you advance in title with the company, it goes to 25%. So this is off of any demonstrator order that you place. And if any customers place an order, you would receive 20% of their order paid to you by Stampin' Up. Another perk of being a Stampin' Up demonstrator is that you get the opportunity to pre-order items that are going to be released to public. So coming March 4th, Stampin' Up has these products that are called online exclusives. So every so often, Stampin' Up releases products that are solely based online. They're not printed in any catalogs. They are just live completely online, hence the term online exclusives. Now, as demonstrators, right now, I can pre-order those items that won't be released to customers until March 1st or March 4th. We can also pre-order items from upcoming catalogs a month before they debut to customers. And you have the opportunity, sometimes Stampin' Up releases other product during the year to customers. Every time that they do that, the month prior, we as demonstrators get to pre-order those items ahead of time. This is great, especially around Christmas time when they release the holiday catalog, because we get to choose those items a month early and get a head start on holiday crafting. So that is one perk that I really like. I like being able to have those items available to demonstrate to my customers ahead of time to get them excited about the upcoming release of those items. And it gives me an opportunity to be able to create with them and showcase them before they're available. Another perk of joining Stampin' Up is you get the opportunity to attend company events. Now, these are both in person and virtual. Stampin' Up hosts a couple of variety of events for demonstrators. We have an exclusive Facebook group for demonstrators that Stampin' Up provides video training on techniques and different ways to use the products. And then also in that Facebook group, demonstrators post projects that they have created. So it is a great resource to be able to get inspiration and ideas for upcoming projects. And I really like being able to be a part of that Facebook group because not only is it being with like-minded people that love crafting, but also Stampin' Up is a global company. So those that are living in Europe or the South Pacific, they may create their projects differently than we do. So it's great to be able to see Stampin' Up projects made with the same supplies, but maybe just in a different way. They may see a stamp set a different way. Like this week, I made the watermelon project into a pizza stamp. So they may be seeing stamps in a different way than we do here in the United States. So it's a great global community there as well. Now, Stampin' Up provides all of their demonstrators, whether you are a new or a seasoned demonstrator, with training and resources on their products and learning new techniques. Now, there is a plethora of information on the Stampin' Up Demonstrator website that talks about different techniques. I love to pull from that website because sometimes you get in a rut with crafting, and it's nice to be able to, oh yeah, I completely forgot about that technique. I'm going to try that again. And it walks you through all the process on how to use those different techniques. Now, another thing that I have had questions about before in the past is when I sign up as a demonstrator, do I have to recruit others to be on my team? And the answer is no. You do not, and you are not required to recruit others to be on your team. You can choose however you want to be a demonstrator. Like I said, you can choose to be the business demonstrator that may want to recruit others on their team, or you could be that happy shopper and you are not required to recruit anybody. The one thing I like about Stampin' Up is that when you purchase the starter kit, there is no expectation to teach classes, host events, have others join your team. You can solely purchase that starter kit and use those products however you would like. Now, if you do decide to build a team and you have questions on how to do that, or you're thinking about building your team, as a part of the Stampin' Blondie team, I do offer additional business builder training. So if that's something you're interested in, you can always reach out to me and we can do a one-on-one session about building your team, or however you want to do, have questions about business building as well. All right. So right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the starter kit. So because Celebration is going on now, I'm not sure if you are familiar with what Celebration is, but Stampin' Up's biggest promotion is once a year, and it's called Celebration. And during the months of January and February, Stampin' Up has an additional starter kit promotion. To sign up as a demonstrator, you get an additional perk to become a demonstrator. Now, in our celebration brochure in the back, if you have one of these, on page 16, there is a page here about becoming a demonstrator during celebration and the additional perks that you get. Now I'm going to swap the camera because I have put together like a little sample starter kit, so you can kind of see if I was going to join Stampin' Up right now and I may not have a lot of supplies in my craft room and I want to get started as a demonstrator, what would be some good supplies to have in my starter kit? So let's go ahead and swap the camera here and I will show you what I put together. So here is my sample starter kit. Now in my sample starter kit, so let me talk about the starter kit first. So during Celebration, you can choose to become a demonstrator. It is $99 and you get to choose $125 worth of product. And this product can be anything from the annual catalog, the mini catalog, or online exclusive items. So in this basket here, I just grabbed items that I think would be great for a demonstrator who is either wanting to be a happy shopper or maybe want to start some classes. So this is actually kind of a 2-in-1 starter kit here. The first thing that I grabbed, of course, are stamps. Now, usually I like to choose stamp sets that are all in one, where they have the images and the sentiments together along with it. But I chose these two because this Charming Sentiments has so many different sentiments that if you don't have a lot of stamps in your craft room, this is a great option because it has so many different occasions that you can use it for. I also chose the Bird's Eye View stamp set because one of the items in this sample starter kit are watercolor pencils. And this Bird's Eye View stamp set is great for coloring in these images. So I just chose 2 stamp sets. Again, with your starter kit, you can choose anything you want. I also chose a package of note cards and envelopes. You get 20 note cards and 20 envelopes in here. Now I chose this because I wanted to maximize my starter kit. So with the starter kit, like I said, it's $99 and you get to choose $125 worth of product. But unfortunately, you can't go 1 penny over $125. So everything in here added up together is $123.25. So I got as close as I could to $125. I chose this because it included cardstock and envelopes. If I would have priced them out separately, I would have gone over that amount. So I wanted to maximize my my starter kit. So I chose the white note cards and envelopes. I also chose a package of the Brights 6x6 Designer Series paper. This is a great designer series paper because it is versatile. You can use it for so many different occasions, and it is in all of our brights color family. So you have 10 different colors in here. There's 4 designs, they're double-sided. So you can get a lot of projects out of this one piece or this one package of designer series paper. I also have a package of watercolor pencils. Now, I did not do any watercolor paper or aqua painters. I wanted to use these just as straight colored pencils, so that was my coloring medium I chose. I needed a Simply chamois to be able to clean off my stamps after I use them. After you use your stamps, you always want to clean them off, and the chamois, you just get it wet with water, and then you can clean off all of your stamps. Now, of course, you need a clear block for your stamps, so clear block D is what I chose. In my everyday crafting, I tend to gravitate towards clear block D the most. So that's why I added it to my kit. It's a great size, and most of our stamps will fit on that size of a block. And then you have to have some ink for your images. So we have just the plain tuxedo black ink pad. Stampin' Dimensionals, these are foam pop-up pieces. They kind of take your project to the next level. We have a roll of linen thread, great for a variety of occasions. Gotta have some bling. These are the Tinsel Gems 4-pack. And of course, you have to glue everything together. So multi-purpose liquid glue. So this is a great starter kit option for those that may not have a lot of supplies already. They are wanting to get started with stamping. I just threw together this sample kit here, but again, with the starter kit, you can choose any products for your starter kit. So it does not have to be any of the products that I chose. Now, during Celebration, I talked about there's additional perks to becoming a demonstrator during Celebration. So it is still $99 for your choice of $125 worth of product. But during Celebration, you get a choice of one of 2 options that Stampin' Up offers. Now, the first one I kind of showed during my Facebook Live this week. And I'm not showing the down camera view of this because it glares and then it doesn't show you the whole thing. But this is the Stampin' Up glass mat. So as a demonstrator during Celebration, you can choose to add the Stampin' Up glass mat for free to your starter kit. It is, I think it's like 17 by 24, I think is the size of this. And it also comes with a cleaning cloth and kind of like a watercolor mixing palette. It's silicone for that. So this is option 1. If you already have a glass mat, or maybe the glass mat just isn't something that you'd be interested in, option 2 is choosing $30 in additional product for your starter kit. So that is another option. If you are wanting a glass mat, my suggestion is option 1, because this is not available to purchase as a demonstrator. Because I am a current demonstrator, I got to purchase it. This is a perk of being a demonstrator. You get to pre-order those items, but right now the glass mat is only available to those that sign up as a demonstrator during Celebration. So that is the additional perk to joining during Celebration, and that runs through the end of this month. All right, so I'm gonna open this up to any questions. Let me just make sure I kind of went over everything here. So I discussed my Stampin' Up story, the Stampin' Blondie team, the additional perks that I offer as the team leader for Stampin' Blondie. Details about being a demonstrator, how you receive a 20% discount on all of your demonstrator orders, as well as earning 20% off of all of your customer orders. You get VIP access to purchase those upcoming products a month before they are available to customers. You get to attend the company events have that exclusive Facebook group, both with Stampin' Blondie and the Stampin' Up Demonstrators, training and resources on products, and then minimum sales requirement and what counts as a sale. So now I'm going to open this up to any questions that you may have. You can ask me about being a demonstrator, anything about Stampin' Up. I am here to answer any questions that you may have regarding Stampin' Up. You can unmute yourself, or you can type it into the chat section at the bottom. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you may have about Stampin' Up. This is the best time to answer them. Oh, you can hear my dog. She's in here. They like to come in here and sleep in my craft room while I'm working. So I will tell you, the Stampin' Up Starter Kit really, I loved that I was able to choose my own products. I didn't have to stick to a certain, starter kit from Stampin' Up. Now you do also receive in your starter kit, it's free shipping. So you don't have to pay shipping on that. There's also packages of catalogs in there and other business supplies for you. You're more than welcome to keep those or pass them along to others. But now, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer any that you may have. All right, I don't see any unmuting or, oh, maybe. Kathy, do you have a question?
I was just going to say you were so very thorough.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know that I have a question at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, you were very thorough. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I know that, so I will tell you, my upline, I have not heard from my upline in the 13 years that I've been a demonstrator. And for me, I know that I do not want to be that type of upline to my team. So I want to help and share and create with them and just be able to really be there and work through the Stampin' Up journey together. So I'm glad I was able to be thorough for you here today.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I will, I believe I'll sign up, but I believe I'll probably, especially in the beginning, be one of your happy shoppers.
All right, that's great to hear.
I do love the fact that you have in the Facebook group some challenges and things. That's one thing I honestly have been buying and being a part of a Stampin' Up group for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I lived in the Denver metro area, and Lisa Horton, we had a monthly, we called Friday Night Stampers. It was the third Friday of every month. We had a potluck, and then we had a gathering. And she, we made cards that she had prepped for us and everything. And that was really, I loved it and totally missed it. And then I moved almost 3 hours away from her. And so I wasn't able to attend gatherings and things. And I did find another representative here in my new community, although she too is probably 45 minutes from me. And so I do have a whole lot of product. But what I really missed was with the first group that I was with, we had they started a monthly challenge for people that wanted to. And that was our demonstrator, Lisa, would say, and it was always a little bit in advance. So maybe like now it would have been for 4th of July or something, because it's far enough in advance. You'd be able to think about it, buy your stamps or products. And then you would design a card and make, if that month there were 8 ladies in the challenge, then you would make 8 cards. So you get to keep one yourself. And then you would get one of everybody's, kind of like a cookie exchange at Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention our team does card swaps as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when a new catalog comes out, we do team card swaps.
Okay, great. Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you for all those years that I had attended hers, I always really, really appreciated it. And when I would make my own cards, I have to admit, it would probably be almost exactly or so very close to what we had done in the class for
Hey, there's
Christmas.
nothing wrong with that.
And there really wasn't, but I can tell you, I did not appreciate Lisa until we started the challenge. I didn't appreciate her as much, I should say, because then once a month I had to create a card. And I I mean, it could take me a month to figure out what I was going to do, and then I had to make
Mhm.
sure I had the paper and the, you know, everything I needed to do it, to make those cards. And wow, that was challenging for me. But it was also one of the things I looked forward to most.
Yeah.
And it got me to use the stuff that I had been buying all those years.
Yep.
And
I found there's a demonstrator in the South Pacific who does, it's called a love it chop it. And it's to say like we buy this pattern paper and we love it, and the big thing is that we need to chop it up and use it and share it with others. It's not meant to be hoarded on a shelf in case we someday will use it. Um, but I really like that, use what you have a plan for what you buy. That's a big thing for me is I always try to buy things that I know I'm going to have a plan for. I'm either going to teach a class with it or do a Facebook Live or, um, I like it for myself kind of thing. So I always try to have a plan for everything that I buy, and just so that I don't go crazy and buy the whole catalog.
I know it's easy to do.
Yes. All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, I do have a quick make and take project for us here today. So I'm gonna swap the camera and let's see. There we go. It is just a simple little card here. Now, this features the Zany Zoo stamp set. There is a whole suite to go along with this. There's stamps, dies, designer series paper, the whole shebang. But I wanted to create a project that just focuses on our core products, stamps, ink, and paper, to show you that you don't have to have everything in the catalog to create a great project. So we are going to use a piece of basic white cardstock, and I have 4 strips of designer series paper. Now these are 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. You want to recreate my project here. Now this project, one of the reasons I chose it as well is because we all have those little bits of paper that we may not know what to do with, but this is a great way to use up scraps of paper and a great way to use your supplies as well. So basic white cardstock, like I said, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. This is my bone folder. I'm just going to use that to kind of crisp up my line here. And before I glue down my pieces, I just want to align everything on my card. So this is a great project for beginner stampers, those that want to take their projects just a little bit further. We are going to be doing some coloring, but this is just a great card for everybody. All right, so I'm using my liquid glue. That's what I chose from my starter kit. If I can get it. I store it upside down with the tip down, and I get what I call glue boogies on it. And sometimes it just gets clogged up from having those glue boogies. So I take just a straight pin and put it in there, and it usually works now. There we go. Oh, throw in my glue. And we're just going to glue this down to the card. Now, while I glue these down, I'll kind of tell you a little bit more about Stampin' Up and um, a little bit about me. Like I said, I've been a demonstrator for 13 years, but I have been crafting a long time since then. Um, I grew up in Iowa and I was a member of 4-H. It's kind of like, if you aren't too familiar with what 4-H is, it's it's more of like a scouting event or group that is more kind of agriculture themed. I didn't grow up on a farm, so I did a lot of the home ec kind of items like the cooking, the baking, um, and the paper crafting. Oh, Kathy, you were in 4-H too. I loved it. It was so much fun. Um, but you know, it just was um I always just did all the home stuff. So we have our pages glued down here. Now, while I was in 4-H, I attended a scrapbooking event with my mom. And I will tell you, I am not a scrapbooker. I'm not good at scrapbooking. The page size just kind of intimidates me now because I'm so used to working with cards. They're smaller and I don't have to work with a big 12 by 12 piece of paper. Um, so while I was in 4-H, like I said, I went to that scrapbook event with my mom. It was put on by Creative Memories, which is another kind of scrapbook company, but they're more geared towards actual scrapbooking than card making. So I've stamped my little raccoon here with the tuxedo black ink that I had shared from my sample starter kit. Now, what I'm not going to do, my sample starter kit, I had watercolor pencils, but I'm just going to use, these are our Stampin' Blends markers. These are alcohol-based markers. So when I was there, I went to that scrapbook event with my mom and I just loved it. I will tell you, my scrapbook page was terrible. I still remember it to this day. It was two pictures in two diagonal corners. There were triangle pieces of cardstock, and I'm sure my mom still has it at her house, but it was an awful scrapbook page. But I loved the creating part of it. So I just continued to craft with my mom, and just all through college I crafted, and I loved it. And now as a military spouse, um, I really have come to appreciate crafting on a different level because every time we move, there's always crafters somewhere. Here in Tucson, there's a big scrapbook group. Like I'm talking about like 200 ladies once a month getting together, crafting together with different themes. And these are some very funny themes, but just appreciating a different kind of aspect of crafting, being able to gather together. And I love that community aspect that crafting and Stampin' Up provides for me. So I just love that aspect of things. And wherever I go, there's always crafters. You can always find somewhere and somebody that likes to craft. All right, so we've colored in our raccoon here with his little balloons, and there are dies to go with this, but like I said, I wanted to showcase our true products here. So we're just going to do a basic card with stamps, ink, and paper. Stampin' Up dubs this as simple stamping, getting back to the basics, and they offer a monthly challenge for simply stamping. You can create a project, upload it to, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media you use, and tag a simple stamping, and Stampin' Up gives away prizes for projects that do simple stamping. And they have like a theme each month. Now, as a more advanced crafter, I will tell you, getting back to the basics and doing a project without any dies or punches or you know, some kind of fancy technique, it can be challenging sometimes, but uh, getting back to the basics of just stamps, ink, and paper, sometimes it helps you when you get a little overwhelmed with crafting. Right, we have our raccoon here, just cutting him out with scissors. These are our paper snips. Got some of that excess off. And there's our little guy. I have a piece of basic white cardstock. This is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And I'm just gonna glue this down to my card. My raccoon, I'm gonna add dimensionals to the back. I added these to my sample starter kit. I love these little foam pop-up pieces. And that's gonna go here. Our sentiment says happy birthday to you. Just a easy sentiment here that works for both feminine and masculine. And this is lemon lolly cardstock, just a scrap piece that I had. And I'm just going to cut the edges at an angle. This will get glued to our card. And now we are going to embellish. So where did my rhinestones go? I kind of cleaned off my desk right before I went live, and I think I may have put them away. So instead of rhinestones, what can we use? What do I have here? Oh, we're gonna skip the rhinestones, but I added a rhinestone there and then 2 down here. And then in that sample kit, I had a roll of the linen thread. I love this. This is one of my favorite ribbons that we have because it goes with everything. It's a great neutral color and you get a lot on a roll. And it's only $5. It's a great price. You get a lot of ribbon and it goes with everything. Oh, you like my glue holder? Thank you. Somebody got me that for, oh no, I bought this. It's 3D printed and there is a scrapbook store in Phoenix that sells them, but you can get them on Etsy if you just search like Tombow glue holder, and there's so many different colors and varieties. But yeah, it's 3D printed and it's great because it holds your glue down, so it will always be at the ready. Right, and we're just going to cut our thread here. And then one thing I didn't have in my sample kit, but I really like glue dots, and so I'm going to use my glue dots here. Now, this glue dot holder is not a Stampin' Up thing, and it's actually discontinued too. It's kind of hard to find online, but it's called a glue dot desktop dispenser. But if you can find one, grab it because they're very hard to find. All right, and that's our project here. Very quick and simple. Stamps, ink, and paper, very easy to put together, a great way to use up some scraps, and a simple project for all skill levels to be able to put together. And that's the Zany Zoo stamp set. This is in the annual catalog. There is designer series paper and dies to go along with this. But just a fun stamp set. Again, like I said, I like stamp sets that have sentiments and images together. So I like to do that with my projects. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you everybody for joining me for my I Love Stamping Night. If you have any questions more about being a demonstrator, or you're interested in signing up on the Stampin' Blondie team, I'm going to send everybody a follow-up email with this video as well as any links to sign up. I look forward to having you join the Stampin' Blondie team and welcoming you on our team Facebook page. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye!